We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Malcolm Rodriguez, Detroit Lions linebacker. I was a big fan of him coming out of the draft, and he's really exceeded expectations for that team. As his rookie year, he was pretty good, and I feel like he's going to have an even bigger breakout season and going into his second year. He looked pretty solid in the preseason. He's very good versus the run. He can get down and be an effective player versus the blitz. I thought he looked better versus the pass in coverage last season than I would have expected him to as a rookie. Just all around, excited to see him play next to Jack Campbell. Going to be a very intriguing linebacker group to watch. This play specifically, look how he reads this concept, reads the pulling guard, gets over the top, wants to beat 62 to this spot to get in that hole and fill this up. Just great job fitting versus the run. Because once they pull right here, your sort of discipline changes. You're working over the top, you're just following this, processing this play, and you want to know that 62 is trying to get to you to the second level here and cut you off. You want to cross his face, get in control of this gap, get control of this side of his body. Very important. He plays low, gets with great leverage, and then gets underneath and helps limit this to only like a 2-yard-ish gain. Very excellent play. Just reading this all the way throughout, like him versus the run. He's a very intelligent player. He stays square the whole time, and he just knows where he's supposed to be, and it's going to be very fun to watch him grow as, the years go on. Not only can he win, downhill, reading run concepts and blocks and taking on blocks, he'll just get physical with you straight up, take you on at the point of attack like it's nothing. Someone got physical last play, but here, this is a different animal. He sees them start to work towards this combo, so he starts to shoot, but how his defensive tackle plays this, he basically gets a one-on-one with this guard, and they're over the top of each other. This is a very weird position to be in for the offensive line, but he just throws his body into it. Look at, the knee bend, the wide base, not overextended there, but gets control of his gap, uses his body, just throws this guy to the side like it's nothing, and then is filling into that B gap right there. Very good. Sees that space open up. Just another good mental play, but really just getting physical downhill, taking on offensive linemen like that on those types of plays where they just sort of have a free climb to you at the second level is not very easy for linebackers to do, and he makes it look pretty easy, especially in that situation. Like I was saying for Imrod, just an effective blitzer, getting downhill, destroying running backs. You'll see that a couple times in this video. Jack Harris get a little lucky here because the quarterback ends up catching the ball off the sort of deflection there, and he gets a reception out of it. But he just meets a running back one-on-one in space, tosses him aside, squares him up, uses that hand. You can see the shock, the power that he has to just throw him like that, and then burst, and then good sort of awareness instincts to, go high and play through the hands like that, force it up in the air. It could have been easily a strip or just a pass deflection, and it just got unlucky. It bounced to the quarterback like that, but that's a very excellent play as a blitzer. Nice to see him winning in multiple different ways, because I feel like coming out of college, I really liked him as a run defender, but I feel like he's grown and been better than people really expected him to be in other areas, and that's very important, being a 3-down linebacker, which he proved his rookie season. Here we got him blitzing again, just getting downhill, taking on a running back, throwing him away like it's nothing. Ball comes out quickly, so it doesn't really have the effect on that this time. Just a quick 3-step drop, but you can see how effective he can be as a blitzer when it's just him one-on-one with a running back like this, just throwing these guys out of the way like they're ragdolls. We've seen him, take on offensive linemen. He's obviously not ragdolling them, but he can be very strong, knows how to use the hip torque, hands, combine everything together, and then when he just goes against running backs, it's very, very easy for him. Doesn't make the tackle on this play, but you can see the effect that he has as this A-gap defender. So he's in charge of the A-gap, and once he sees this all open up, he just shoots down, and it forces Breda to really bounce it and get to the edge. As a spill player here, you're kind of, helping things bounce outside, and then the edge defenders, force defenders, trying to force it back inside, so you just work together to constrict those run lanes, and he just feels this open up. Once he sees all this space to work with, he takes the opportunity to shoot downhill. Sometimes he'll play patient, stack, and track over the top with pullers, but here, he sees this a zone concept, holes opening up, he gets down, tries to fill in this, which forces the running back to, make a play quickly, because he's doing his job. His job is filled right here. There's nowhere for, I believe that's Breda, to go. So he's forced to bounce it all the way to the outside, and everyone can run to it and help. But he's the one who really made that play happen just by, being aggressive, getting downhill, reading the run concepts, and just being a, more of an active player rather than a reactive player. And he even gets hooked up here by an offensive lineman late. You can see once he tries to hook underneath, the lineman hooks him around the shoulder right there. It almost gets a hold. You can see a little bit of athleticism to stay even on his feet. He's a better athlete than I think people give him credit for. Another play where he doesn't get the tackle, but you get to see him just shoot downhill and destroy an offensive lineman. Like, puts an offensive lineman on his back. Help just create that sort of, chaos right there. Not a lot of room for the running back to work with. And just where he is, he reads the flow. Outside zone, he's like the play side linebacker here. He just gets downhill immediately. You can see how quickly he reads these plays, and he sees this offensive lineman like working on the combo of 98 here, and look what he does. He just takes him out, throws him out of the way, and throws him basically back into the running back, which forces him to cut back into more help. And then now everyone's there to help make that tackle. Even though he won't get any credit in the stat sheet, he does a really good job of just muddying up those waters up front, making those run lanes very hard for the running back to find. I really like this play from Rodriguez. 2nd and 8 situation, center. They're working like a little bit of pin pull stuff here, and you can see that he makes a really nice play. Like, he's a B gap defender here. He sees this open up, but the center's pulling around off this, him blocking down, him pulling around, and he takes on the center out in space, and he does a really good job. He stays square, he stays balanced, everything's under control, drops his shoulder into the outside half of this offensive lineman because he's in control of this gap, and he wants to keep that outside, and then he knows how to use his arm placement. His whole body's in a good position. It's just technique-wise, and then, separates at the end to help make that tackle. He had him, falling to the ground, and then Campbell finishes it up, but you can tell that he plays with a lot of toughness, and he just really understands where he's supposed to be. His instincts are really, really good. Just another example of him versus the run, reading flow, getting downhill, taking on an offensive lineman at the point of attack, squaring him up, attacking the right angle to maintain, your run fit, the discipline here. He just sees, like a lot of times these guys will try to, just work to space here, but he just attacks offensive linemen and then gets control of him. So now he's in control of here. If he tried to, just run down into space, this guy could come off and just attack the side of him and take him out of the play if the running back runs with a little bit of patience. But he, he dictates these plays. Now he's in control of this, and then he just takes himself off, then helps fill the hole. Like, if people try to, overcommit too fast, like a lot of linebackers too, they'll try to fly down here, and you can make a big tackle for loss doing that, but he plays this pretty safely, takes that guy on, and then, very strong tackler to finish. Play the room breakdown, not much coverage, like just going through the preseason film. A lot of this stuff, like cover one, just covering running backs down in the flat on swing routes, things like that, and he actually looked pretty good doing it. A lot of times when they're in this situation, guys will not take this aggressive of an angle. They'll kind of, work down horizontally just to stay over the top. And that will happen, and that can be good too, just not to force the throw. But sometimes they catch it and make you miss out in space one-on-one, and he just gets down there quickly. Takes a great angle, meets him at the point of attack. He's a very strong tackler in space. And this is just another good play. He did this probably 3 or 4 times, I think, throughout the preseason. But those are only his real coverage reps. There was some in zone where he dropped back. He definitely looks like he can do it. He's more comfortable, I think, in zone than in years past. But even if you watch some of his rookie film, he definitely there's things that he can improve upon in coverage for sure. But it's definitely not a huge weakness at this point overall. It's definitely just I would think something he's probably average at, but can still keep improving, and his run defense really carries him. And I would like to see even more blitzing going into the second year. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get to the video.